6 places on Earth where the sun never sets. Don't we all have those days when we wish the day never ends? Well, some people are lucky to have this wish fulfilled. 24-hour to 20-hour daytime, which varies per the proximity to the pole, for an extended time period, that essentially means that for weeks and months altogether it is bright and sunny. These places obviously have a specific geographical location, close to the poles of the Earth. This phenomenon occurs because the Earth is tilted on its axis by approximately 23 degrees. At the poles, North Pole and South Pole, this means that the sun only rises and sets once each year. These phenomena are observed more near the North Pole, the Arctic Circle, owing to it having human settlements. And even though they also occur in southern regions near the Antarctic Circle, owing to it being an uninhabited continent, it is only ever experienced by scientist missions or the odd adventurer. The maximum timelines for this phenomenon are: at the South Pole, the sun rises on September 21st and does not set until March 22nd, the following year. At the North Pole, the sun rises on March 22nd and sets on September 21st, the same year. There are many countries with areas within or bordering the Arctic Circle to where you can plan your exotic holiday. Some of these areas include the northernmost parts of Canada, Greenland, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Russia, Alaska and Iceland. Are you planning a vacation to the places where the sun never sets, or to a land of the midnight sun, a place where in summer the sun can often be seen past midnight? We are talking about places in the world where the sun never sets. Imagine, the day never ends and you don't know when to sleep, when to wake up. Here are places where the sun never sets. Norway, country of Northern Europe that occupies the western half of the Scandinavian peninsula. Nearly half of the inhabitants of the country live in the far south, in the region around Oslo, the capital. About 2/3 of Norway is mountainous, and off its much indented coastline lie, carved by deep glacial fjords, some 50,000 islands. Indo-European peoples settled Norway's coast in antiquity, establishing a permanent settlement near the present capital of Oslo some 6,000 years ago. The interior was more sparsely settled, owing to extremes of climate and difficult terrain, and even today the country's population is concentrated in coastal cities such as Bergen and Trondheim. Dependent on fishing and farming, early Norwegians developed a seafaring tradition that would reach its apex in the Viking era, when Norse warriors regularly raided the British Isles, the coasts of Western Europe, and even the interior of Russia. Due to Norway's high latitude, there are large seasonal variations in daylight. During the summer months, or from late May to late July, the sun never completely descends beneath the horizon in areas north of the Arctic Circle, hence Norway's description as the land of the midnight sun, and the rest of the country experiences up to 20 hours of daylight per day. So, if you wish to experience a complete daytime, visit northern Norway, where the sun literally never sets. Thus, you can book a cycle tour, go sea kayaking, fishing, golfing, or take a cruise to soak in the experience of your days of midnight sun in northern Norway. Iceland, island country located in the North Atlantic Ocean. Lying on the constantly active geologic border between North America and Europe, Iceland is a land of vivid contrasts of climate, geography, and culture. Sparkling glaciers, such as Vatna Glacier, Vatnajökull, Europe's largest, lie across its ruggedly beautiful mountain ranges. Abundant hot geysers provide heat for many of the country's homes and buildings and allow for hothouse agriculture year-round, and the offshore Gulf Stream provides a surprisingly mild climate for what is one of the northernmost inhabited places on the planet. Iceland was founded more than 1,000 years ago during the Viking Age of exploration and settled by a mixed Norse and Celtic population. The early settlement, made up primarily of Norwegian seafarers and adventurers, fostered further excursions to Greenland and the coast of North America, which the Norse called Vinland. Despite its physical isolation some 500 miles 800 kilometers from Scotland, its nearest European neighbor, Iceland has remained throughout its history very much a part of European civilization. The Icelandic sagas, most of which recount heroic episodes that took place at the time the island was settled, are regarded as among the finest literary achievements of the Middle Ages, reflecting a European outlook while commemorating the history and customs of a people far removed from continental centers of commerce and culture. The capital, Bay of Smokes, is the site of the island's first farmstead and is a thriving city, handsome in aspect and cosmopolitan in outlook. Other major population centers are Akureyri, on the north-central coast, Hafnarfjordur, on the southwestern coast, and Selfoss, in the southern lowlands. Iceland is a Scandinavian country, the world's oldest democracy but modern in nearly every respect. Unlike most European countries, however, it is ethnically homogeneous, so much so that genetic researchers have used its inhabitants to study hereditary disorders and develop cures for a host of diseases. A country full of beautiful varied landscapes with an ethereal quality where you can visit waterfalls, volcanoes, glaciers and geysers or go camping and diving. Plus, you can also ride the Icelandic horses or play the leisure sport of golf at any of the 65 golf courses at midnight. Canada, second largest country in the world in area after Russia, occupying roughly the northern 2/5 of the continent of North America. Despite Canada's great size, it is one of the world's most sparsely populated countries. This fact, coupled with the grandeur of the landscape, has been central to the sense of Canadian national identity, as expressed by the Dublin-born writer Anna Brownell Jameson, who explored central Ontario in 1837 and remarked exultantly on the seemingly interminable line of trees before you. The boundless wilderness around you, the mysterious depths amid the multitudinous foliage, where foot of man hath never penetrated, the solitude in which we proceeded mile after mile, no human being, no human dwelling within sight. Although Canadians are comparatively few in number, they have crafted what many observers consider to be a model multicultural society, welcoming immigrant populations from every other continent. In addition, Canada harbors and exports a wealth of natural resources and intellectual capital equaled by few other countries. Canada shares a 5,525-mile (8,890 km) long border with the United States, including Alaska, the longest border in the world not patrolled by military forces, and the overwhelming majority of its population lives within 185 miles (300 kilometers) of the international boundary. In Nunavut and Northwest Territories, Canada, it is daytime for about 50 days during the summer. Fishing and hunting, participating in the Great Northern Arts Festival annual feature in mid-July, playing golf on the tundra and participating in the Midnight Sun Fun Run starts at midnight on the weekend closest to the summer solstice are some activities that you can enjoy when you visit these places where the sun never sets. Sweden, country located on the Scandinavian peninsula in northern Europe. The name Sweden was derived from the Svir, or Suones, a people mentioned as early as 98 CE by the Roman author Tacitus. The country's ancient name was Svethiod. Stockholm has been the permanent capital since 1523. Sweden occupies the greater part of the Scandinavian peninsula, which it shares with Norway. The land slopes gently from the high mountains along the Norwegian frontier eastward to the Baltic Sea. Geologically, it is one of the oldest and most stable parts of the Earth's crust. Its surface formations and soils were altered by the receding glaciers of the Pleistocene epoch, about 2,600,000 to 11,700 years ago. Lakes dot the fairly flat landscape, and thousands of islands form archipelagos along more than 1,300 miles (2,100 kilometers) of jagged, rocky coastline. Like all of northwestern Europe, Sweden has a generally favorable climate relative to its northerly latitude owing to moderate southwesterly winds and the warm North Atlantic current. The country has a 1,000-year-long continuous history as a sovereign state, but its territorial expanse changed often until 1809. Today it is a constitutional monarchy with a well-established parliamentary democracy that dates from 1917. Swedish society is ethnically and religiously very homogeneous, although recent immigration has created some social diversity. Historically, Sweden rose from backwardness and poverty into a highly developed post-industrial society and advanced welfare state with a standard of living and life expectancy that rank among the highest in the world. When in Sweden, you can enjoy the midnight sun in Stockholm, the capital city of Sweden, where the sun sets around midnight and rises again at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Stockholm actually consists of 14 islands. It is also located at the place where Lake Mälaren joins the Baltic Sea, and thus, 30% of Stockholm is made up of waterways. Go for a ride on the waters to view the midnight sun. Skansen is another Swedish town, replica of 19th century Sweden with traditional houses, tradespeople and artisans. Also, Skansen has the oldest open-air museum in the world, is open at the time when you can enjoy the midnight sun. Plus, you can visit Björkliden to enjoy night golf in broad daylight, no less. When you are in Sweden, do think of going for night hiking in the mountains at Lapporden or Abisko National Park, right in the Swedish Lapland. Finland, country located in northern Europe. Finland is one of the world's most northern and geographically remote countries and is subject to a severe climate. Nearly two-thirds of Finland is blanketed by thick woodlands, making it the most densely forested country in Europe. Finland also forms a symbolic northern border between Western and Eastern Europe, dense wilderness and Russia to the east, the Gulf of Bothnia and Sweden to the west. A part of Sweden from the 12th century until 1809, Finland was then a Russian Grand Duchy until, following the Russian Revolution, the Finns declared independence on December 6, 1917. Finland's area decreased by about 1/10 during the 1940s, when it ceded the Petsamo-Pekinga area, which had been a corridor to the ice-free Arctic coast, and a large part of southeastern Karelia to the Soviet Union, ceded portions now in Russia. Throughout the Cold War era, Finland skillfully maintained a neutral political position, although a 1948 treaty with the Soviet Union, terminated 1991, required Finland to repel any attack on the Soviet Union carried out through Finnish territory by Germany or any of its allies. Since World War II, Finland has steadily increased its trading and cultural relations with other countries. Under a US-Soviet agreement, Finland was admitted to the United Nations in 1955. Since then, Finland has sent representatives to the Nordic Council, which makes suggestions to member countries on the coordination of policies. The notion of nature as the true home of the Finn is expressed again and again in Finnish proverbs and folk wisdom. The harsh climate in the northern part of the country, however, has resulted in the concentration of the population in the southern third of Finland, with about 1/5 of the country's population living in and around Helsinki, Finland's largest city and continental Europe's northernmost capital. Yet, despite the fact that most Finns live in towns and cities, nature, especially the forest, is never far from their minds and hearts. Skiing, cycling, rock climbing and hiking are some activities where you can have fun when you are visiting this country of the midnight sun. You can plan your holiday to Finland during the Finnish national holiday of midsummer during the months when sun does not set, when people light bonfires, go for boating and fishing. Alaska. The sun doesn't set in the country of Alaska from late May to late July. Beautiful and breathtaking, the country is in darkness in the harsh months of winter. Known for its spectacular glaciers and snow-capped mountains, you can go hiking or sightseeing. Imagine watching those beautiful mountains glistening with snow at 2 a.m. in morning. You can even go whale watching. Thank you for watching.